Well, Steve, before the introduction of the Nations League, you might have been coming into this camp looking at friendly matches. Now you've got high-stakes game, high-pressure game, and it means something. How important is that for you?
Yeah, very important. I just touched on in a previous interview that I just did there. Instead of having 4 friendlies leading into a World Cup qualifier, we've actually got 2 games in March that mean a lot. So, no, they're important games.
Yeah, you've spoken about before about wanting to stay at this level to be the best. You've got to play against the best. Just looking at that and your previous experience, do you think the team has learned, and what do you think the team has learned from playing against those top teams and top opposition?
I think we've improved. If you look at our world rankings, that will tell you different, but that's a little anomaly that seems to have popped up with the Nations League. I think as a team we've improved. I think as individual players we've improved at this level. We understand what it takes to win a game at this level, and thankfully recently we've been able to show that we can do that.
I'm sure you'll have noticed the fans' level of expectation has increased. Has your level of expectation of the players increased too, in line with that?
No, listen, supporters they've always got to dream, they've always got to think ahead. For me, it's just to focus on the next game. The next game is a good Greece side here at Hampden, and we want to win the game.
I think there's a few cap milestones. John McGinn up for his 75th, Scott McTominay 60th, Kenny McLean 50th. Can you just talk a little bit about those players and how impressed you've been with their contributions to their country in your time here?
Yeah, listen, with all the players, that was one of the things that I set out quite early in my reign as head coach was to get a core group of players who would be capped. And I mentioned it before the game the other night. You go to a difficult place. Greece away is a difficult place to go. Not many teams go there and win. And I pointed out the fact that the reason that we give them cap after cap after cap is so that when they come to those difficult games, they understand what they have to do. And those 3 are just 3 of many that have a number of caps now.
Steve, does this have a feeling of a little bit like a cup final tomorrow night, given there is a prize at stake as well?
I hadn't thought of that until you mentioned it. No, it's a game that we want to win. Obviously, we've got the 1 goal lead from the first leg, but we're going to set up and try and win the game, and hopefully set a marker down for the World Cup games coming up.
You've spoken about the leaders in the team. Do you have individual leaders there who look after some other players, some of the younger players, for example, coming into the squad this week? Do you actually say to the John McGinns, the Scott McTominays, the Craig Gordons, to take these players aside and to learn, let them speak to the youngsters and tell them what it's going to be like?
I don't need to do that because they understand how difficult it is to come into a group of players as a fresh young face. They've all been there many years ago and many caps ago. They've all been in the same situation, so they're very good at passing on that education to the younger players, and the young boys have slotted into the squad, no problem at all. You
seem to have brought about a club culture into the national team. Is that fair?
No, we want a culture of when the players come here, they want to be here, they enjoy being here, and thankfully, by and large, we've managed to do that.
Last broadcast question, please.
Can I ask you what you expect from Greece and how they will, come into the game, and the knowledge that they're 1-0 down?
I'd imagine they'll try and replicate what they did in the second half out there and put us under a bit of pressure. So, no, I think they'll come. Listen, their away results in the group stage are impressive. They went to Dublin and won. They went to Finland and won. They went to Wembley and won. So they'll come here and I think they'll just play their normal game.
Everybody fitting well?
All good, yeah.
Good.
Steve, sorry, just one more from me. There's going to be a tifo before the match to honour Dennis Law. Just how special a moment do you think that will be, and how do you think that can lift the team as they honour one of Scotland's greatest ever players?
No, I think it's the first chance we've had to commemorate Dennis's passing, so I'm sure the crowd and the team and everyone will appreciate it.
Ewan?
Steve, just on that Wembley result, not many teams go to Wembley and beat England. What did they do that night, especially that we have to be very, very wary of?
They were very good on counter-attack, as they were the other night. I think they showed pretty much in the game the other night what their strengths are. Hopefully we showed 1 or 2 weaknesses that we can build on. But no, they're a team that play very aggressive football. They want to get forward, they want to score goals. They're not interested in sitting in and defending. If they have to defend, there was a couple of times the other night that delivery into the box wasn't good. The big goalkeeper catches it and he's immediately thrown it, putting us on counter-attack, even the time he went about a yard outside his box and threw it, and we didn't get a free kick for it, but there you go.
David, then Graham, please.
Steve, in this kind of run of games recently, Portugal, Croatia, Poland and Greece, John Souttar and Grant Hanley have been constants in the middle of the defence. Can you just tell us a bit about their partnership, and both collectively and individually, how good they've been in terms of just even dealing with setbacks themselves and their club kind of seasons?
Grant's got all the experience in the world. He's obviously shown that although he's not starting regular at Birmingham, he knows how to train, he knows how to work. He showed the shape that he's in the other night. They're both very intelligent central defenders. John obviously finished last season with a little injury issue. I left him out the Euro squad. He's come back into the squad and he's shown me that he wants to be involved, he wants to be part of it. I think he's grown into the role. I think playing beside Grant has been a big help for him because Grant's got that experience. And now the two of them look like a very good combination, and hopefully that continues into the future.
Steve, you obviously have Ryan Christie back available as well. He's been getting a lot of plaudits.
Sorry, I missed you.
Sorry, you have Ryan Christie back available again. He's getting a lot of plaudits down south at the moment for this new position he's playing in. Where does he come into your thinking for this game, and can we expect to see him maybe in a slightly different position to the one we've been used to for the national team?
Do you want my stock standard answer? Maybe. Listen, Ryan's been at Bournemouth. I've seen him a couple of times for Bournemouth, and people will tell you that he's playing a slightly deeper role when you actually watch Bournemouth play. He's still the one that leads the high press. He's the one that gets after the game. He still gets forward to the edge of the box. So all they've done at Bournemouth is they've given him a nominal position, if you like, but he still plays the same way as Ryan plays. It doesn't matter where you play Ryan on the pitch. He brings energy and quality, and that's what he always brings for us as well.
Last couple of questions, please. Scott, then Alan.
Steve, what is playing in the top tier of the Nations League given us? It felt the other night in Greece like we went there with a real confidence, a calmness, a composure. Is that because we've been to Portugal and Poland and Croatia getting results? And if that is the case, how important is it that we stay there?
Yeah, and we've been to France, we've played England, we've played Holland. I put them through the mill with the games, but eventually you get the experience. So when we went there the other night, we knew what to expect. So the players are able to handle that. Like I said before, it's a little anomaly in that as you improve I think we improve as a team. You go down the world rankings, but it's just experience. I said right at the very start we didn't have enough caps within the squad. Something we set about addressing, and we've certainly done that. Over 550 caps, I think, in the team the other night in Athens.
Hi, Steve. How impressed were you with Karetsas when he came on at half-time and for Greece? And might you have some specific plans to deal with him? You brought on Kieran Tierney in the second half and left in midfield. Yeah,
he was good. Obviously, when you have a young 17-year-old with that talent and he chooses not to play with Belgium, where he played all his underage football, he's gone back. So he gave the crowd a lift. Certainly his first couple of touches on the ball made everyone aware that he's a good player. And then if he plays tomorrow, then hopefully we've got the players on the pitch that can deal with him.
Last one, Danny.
Steve, you mentioned hopefully put a marker down for the World Cup games. How significant a psychological advantage could winning this tie be in regard to those ties?
Yeah, it could be. It could be. Obviously, like I said before, we have a 1-goal lead coming into the game. But for me, in my head, I want to win this tie. I want them to know that. I want the Greek side to know that if they come to Hampden, it's going to be a difficult place to come. So hopefully, it's going to be difficult in the game tomorrow, and it's going to be difficult when they come back over in October.
Okay. Thank you all. Thank you.
Scott, if selected tomorrow, this will be your 60th cap for Scotland. Can you just tell us how special that is for you?
Yeah, obviously so proud and very thankful to the managers that have helped me have a journey with the Scotland national team. So very, very pleased and honoured to play 60 games. I would have never thought that one as a young boy.
Andy was speaking last week about trying to catch Kenny Dalglish's records. If you don't mind me saying, you've got a few years on Andy Robertson. Is that in your mind, looking at that Kenny Dalglish record, you can perhaps get to that one day?
For me, it's just important to make sure that I'm always available, both club and countries. availability is so important to me, looking after myself and my body to have as long a career as I possibly can, and I want to go really far into my 30s if it's possible, and for me that's something that I've always had a goal of doing. So no matter what happens, I just want to make sure that I'm playing well and prepared to give my all for both club and country.
Been a good season for club and country. As you say, how much have you enjoyed making that step to the Serie A to play for Napoli?
Yeah, I mean, it's football. You just have to go and give your absolute best at all times and push as much as you can to continue improving, because as a footballer you can never stop improving, and obviously it's a different league for me, which I'm thoroughly enjoying, and coming away with Scotland is such an amazing feeling as well.
For some players, they might think that getting to Manchester United is the top and they can't improve from that level, but you look to have flourished in Italy. What's been key to that success?
Yeah, I mean, both incredible football clubs, and I'm very grateful for the journey that I've had, but I still have many more years in my career where I want to carry on improving and just making the most out of my career, because I would never want to look back whenever I retire and think that I could have given more, or I could have optimised my career and had more time on the pitch than I should have done. So for me, that's just the goal, to improve at all costs and help, obviously, while I'm here, Steve Clarke and all the players here.
Scott, can I ask you how you've seen the Scotland squad develop since you first came into it back in 2018?
Yeah, I feel like the development has been massive, you know, in terms of we've had a lot of different players over the years, and there has been that core group of players, more senior players as well. So as you see now, we've got some young players coming in. Lennon and James have been a breath of fresh air. They're such great kids who are so hungry to work and improve, and they've got a bit about them as well. They've got personality, which is what they need to come and play for Scotland, and obviously for the clubs as well. So yeah, I love seeing young boys come in full of confidence and ready to prove themselves, that they're ready to play, which in my opinion they're more than good enough, and I'm wishing them all the best in their careers as well.
Does Steve lean on yourself as being, although you're only 28, as being part of a leadership group in terms of looking after some of these youngsters now?
Yeah, but I'm experienced. I've had, you know, as you say, 59 caps, so I know the standards and the requirements whenever you come and play for Scotland, and I know the responsibilities that players need to take on board to improve and get to major tournaments and get out the group if possible in the next one, hopefully. So for us, that's the goal, that's the ambition, and you can never lose sight of continuing to improve, because as footballers you never know, and you never know everything, so you can always improve.
Has playing in Italy improved you as an international player, and if so, how?
Yeah, I would say potentially it has done. It's opened my eyes to a different style of football. It's opened my eyes to a lot of different things off the pitch as well, which I'm very, very grateful for. So yeah, as you say, anywhere, whatever club you play at, or if you get a transfer or something like that, you need to always be open arms and look to improve as well.
Do you have one favourite moment in the 59 caps so far?
There's been so many. There's been Kenny McLean's goal away at Norway, which was amazing. I thought it was amazing that day as well. So probably the two goals at home against Spain was probably something that springs to mind, and obviously getting to the major tournament. So for me, I'm just hungry for more, and as you say, for this group, I feel like we can restart and kick on forward again.
In terms of the other night in Greece, there seemed to be a laser pen being put in your eyes, or attempted to get you. Were you aware of that? No,
I wasn't. To be honest, I actually didn't realise, but I realised it during the game because it was being flashed around. But for the penalty, no, I didn't actually notice. I know it might not look like that from the television, but you have to be focused, you know, and not let too many things get in your way of scoring a crucial goal for Scotland.
And finally, for me then, what would it mean for you personally, and do you think for the national team, to maintain their spot in the elite of Europe?
Very important, because we see ourselves as a very good team who are capable of playing against the best teams in the world, and obviously for us, we have to be better playing against your top elite sides. But I feel like we're more than confident of putting that forwards and making sure that we can go play against these teams and give them a real good goal.
Take some written questions now, Ewan.
Scott, when we go back to when we left Germany in the summer, everything was obviously pretty sad, pretty flat. You know, the start of 2025, not that long on in international terms, things are upbeat again, the team are playing really well, good results. What has been the change between the summer and now? What's allowed you to get kind of back on the horse, as it were?
First of all, in the summer, it was very fine margins. You know, it's not always like the media will always say it's doom and gloom and stuff like that. Football's such slim margins where if you don't take your moments in both boxes against top teams, you're going to get punished. And for us, that's probably been a bigger improvement in the last game that we saw. We defended our box so well, and like granted, John Suter, the way that he was attacking the ball and making sure that we all pushed up together is something that's so important for the team, to be led by those guys at the back who can really help us defend our own box. And at the end of the day, if you take your moments in both boxes, because the moments in your own box are just important at the other end as well, is crucial.
Did you feel the criticism was over the top then in the summer? Do you feel there was too much of a low feeling at that point?
To be honest, I don't really read the criticism or pay too much attention to it, but from the general feeling from some friends, family members, the other players, yeah, I feel like sometimes it's a bit unjustified from how well Steve Clarke has done in terms of what he's done for this whole group of players. He's basically transformed us into believing that we can go and play against your Spains, your Germanys and teams like that. And if one game that it doesn't come off, then he still has that belief in us the next time. And as a player, that's crucial. He's such a great manager, and as a person as well, it helps you progress as well as a Scotland player.
Gary?
Scott, there's going to be a tifo in the North Stand in honour of Denis Law's memory. Does that give an extra incentive to honour his memory and get the result you want tomorrow?
Yeah, of course. An incredible football player for both Manchester United and Scotland, and yeah, he's incredible, to be honest. And for us to be following in the footsteps of someone as great as that is something truly special.
Could I ask, Scott, did you have many dealings with Denis as you came through the ranks at Man United? And could I maybe just ask for if you did have a wee story about your dealings with him?
I didn't, no, so sorry.
Okay.
Robert?
Could you maybe expand on the things that moving to Italy has opened your eyes about on and off the pitch?
To be honest, I've always been quite serious about my nutrition, my recovery, and improving. So obviously it does open your eyes a little bit when you go and see different ways of approaching football and different ways of recovering and training, stuff like that. But you get used to it pretty quick. It's not something that you're going home and it's difficult to adapt, because football is football. You go out there and you give it your best and you listen to instructions of your managers and you just take it full steam ahead and try to improve. So for me, yeah, it's been good and eye-opening, but also I've really enjoyed it at the same time.
Last couple.
There's now 4 players from the Serie A started the other night. What impact do you think that's having on the team in general, having 4 coming from a different culture?
Yeah, just to be honest, no difference really. Like, the boys are all very, very familiar with one another from the time that they played in Scotland or in England. So the dynamic doesn't change whatsoever, to be honest. If that's the question that you're asking, it's quite similar, to be honest.
Scott, you're obviously thriving in Italy, but you look at where Man United are now, and you hear a lot of Man U fans saying now we shouldn't have let Scott McTominay go. How does that make you feel?
Scotland questions only about that, no club-related stuff, if that's all right.
The other night then, in Greece, when you stepped up to take responsibility for the penalty, what was going through your head, and does that just show how much you feel like a real key player, big player in the squad?
I feel like, firstly, Jose said that I'm on penalties, so you have to be confident and get up there and take them, you know. So if that's your responsibility, then I've hit loads of penalties in training over and over again, repetition, so it's nothing new to me, and I feel like I'm quite calm in situations like that anyway. It doesn't really tend to play in your mind too much or think too much about it, and at the end of the day it's about putting the ball in the back of the net and watching the goalkeeper, making sure that you know how he moves and what he likes to do. So yeah, I feel like it's something that I enjoy doing.
You mentioned the development of your own game. Are we worried about Billy's development that you've seen since you've been together at the club, and how much you value being able to play alongside him at international level as well?
Yeah, Billy's such a great player. You know, whenever he has came into the team in Naples, and obviously he's played many games for Scotland, he's been an absolute breath of fresh air. He's so technically gifted, and he makes such a difference to the team whenever he does play, because he's so calm. He'll play the ball, and we have a really good relationship now. We spend a lot of time with each other. We go out for dinner quite a lot, and it's almost like a little brother now. So we help each other on and off the pitch. We do sort of similar exercise in the gym where we go and train together afterwards. And yeah, do you know what? He's such a great kid as well. He's always wanting to learn, which is probably one of the most important things, and he takes his football very, very seriously. So yeah, so pleased for him, and the journey is only going to go up for Billy.
you could see him kicking on to get the same number of kind of caps that you've got at that sort of level?
Yeah, for sure, more, to be honest. I feel like he's that good of a player where any team that he plays in, he's got the capabilities to be one of the best players, and I firmly believe that. And for me to watch him grow, and because I remember messaging whenever he was at Chelsea and he hadn't played for Scotland, and I remember saying, "You keep going the way that you're going, son. You'll be in the Scotland setup before you know it, and you'll be playing the Premier League and the Serie A and stuff like that." And I'm so happy that he's doing it now.
Last one, Scotty. Talk about him being a little brother. Do you find yourself being quite protective of him now on and off the pitch?
No, not at all. No, just like obviously we had a great relationship before we both went to Italy, but now obviously we spend a lot more time together and stuff like that. He's a great kid, and you know what? He's got so much ability that it goes unnoticed sometimes how good of a player he actually is.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Sorry?
Can I ask a question about the award? Scott, Scott, International Player of the Year, the Football Writers, proud?
Very proud. You know, I'm so grateful as well, and very thankful to everyone who's helped me in this journey, especially Steve Clarke, to be honest, because he's the reason why I've been performing so well, and the reason why I love coming to the camp, because he makes it such an amazing atmosphere, and for me, I just want to do as much as I can for him and keep thriving as much as possible.
I suppose being part of the elite group helps you as well in terms of being an elite player. And when you go back to Italy, what sort of recognition would this have, you know, at your club?
Yeah, to be honest, individual awards are amazing, but we all know it's a collective. You wouldn't get anything without your teammates and the staff, who actually not many people see what the staff do behind closed doors. So for me, obviously, it's predominantly dedicated to them and them helping me as much as possible.
Okay, thank you. Just check in with your written colleagues on embargo, they'll kill me.
Thank you very much.
Bye, guys.
Thank you very much.